Sketching. Sketching is another synonym for just drawing. We're going to do some drawing today.
Yay! Ollie, you're going to be great at this one.
Now, don't worry, no circles involved, okay? However, the second thing you notice is it's sketching linear graphs. That's everything we've been looking under this topic so far. It's all been in straight lines. That's what linear means, line, okay? So you're gonna need a ruler. You cannot get away with trying to draw it straight-ish. It must be straight, okay? So you have to wait because yeah. Why don't you use this one?
I use that. I'm having trouble.
So that's what we're gonna do. Let's have a look at an example. Now, I'm going to show you two methods, by the way. This is all about, like in real life, you always want to have more than one way to do things. Okay? Because sometimes one way is better than another. Write down the equation. Y equals 2/3 of x plus 1. And we're going to see what this looks like. Okay? The first method is using this equation, using its slope and its intercept is actually short for y-intercept. Alright, so here we go. Assuming you've already drawn your beautiful set of axes there, okay? The first thing you want to do is, underneath the equation that you've been given, and you should write down the equation as well, okay? We want to write down the slope-intercept form of this equation, which is like this, right? I don't know if you remember this from last lesson, okay? That what you're looking at really, right, is y equals mx plus b, where there's a specific m, which is gradient, and a specific b, which is the y-intercept. Okay, so you can see here, you can actually read it, right? Here, that's m, right? That number there, 2/3, okay? And b is right here. By the way, you'll notice, I put it all the way around the plus, right? Because it's actually important that it's plus 1. If it was -1 or -2, you'd include the minus sign as well, okay? So when you're drawing it in, you should do it the same way I have, right? Draw it all the way around the plus and the 1 together, okay? So, sorry, that's B there, okay? So, on the basis of this, I'm going to draw my graph. I'll start with the y-intercept because it's really easy, okay? The y-intercept is plus 1, right? So, here's the y-axis, and I want to just pick a point. You guys have got a grid in your books mostly, so maybe you want to go up 1 or 2 grid squares, right? I don't, so I'm just going to put it here. There's 1, okay? Now, for me, just personally, to indicate that this marker on the graph is not just any old marker on the graph, like maybe you've got a whole bunch. I might do a few more. Okay? This mark is special. It's the y-intercept. So to mark that out, I'll put an X on it there, like, which means, you know, I'm going to go through this point in a second. Okay? Great. We've done the y-intercept part of this method. Now we're going to do the slope part. Now, slope, gradient is another name for that, if you remember. We've just noticed that this gradient is up here. It's the number in front of the x. The fancy word is it's the coefficient, okay? It's 2/3, okay? The gradient, or the slope, equals 2/3. Okay, now do you remember when we were trying to work out how do you, we looked at how to calculate the gradient yesterday, okay? We said the slope or the gradient is, it's something over something. Do you remember what the things were? Yeah, excellent. Rise over run. Rise over run. Okay, now when you have a look at this fraction that we've seen in the equation, 2/3, that's the rise and that's the run. Rise. Run. Okay. So here's how I'm going to use that information, right? What I'll do is, and again, you guys have got a grid, which makes this so much easier. I'm going to try my best to do it approximately, but you guys can do it precisely, okay? Rise over run, 2/3. First thing is I'm going to go up 2 units. That's the rise, okay? So I go up 1, 2. So now I'm here along with 3. I've risen to... No, because remember, my graph is going to go through this point here. So that's why this is my starting point. Glad you mentioned that. I'm not starting from 0. I'm starting from the y-intercept, okay? So then I rise, I go up 2 units, okay? From 1 up to 3, so that's the rise, okay? And since I rose up that, I'm going to run, I'm going to go horizontally 3 units. That's all, okay? Now, like I said, you guys have got markings here. I'm just going to try and submit. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to go across. That's the run. 3 units. There you go. Okay? Can you see? I went up 2, and then I went across 3. Can you see that? Up and across. And that there, right, that's going to be that line that I'm going to put through there. So now you get your ruler out again. Okay, in fact I will. And you're going to join up these 2 points. That's all you have to do. Join up the 2 X's that you've put on there. Mine looks like this. Okay, there you go. The very last thing I'm going to do is, this line, right, it came from this equation. This is kind of like the line of this equation, right? So I label it with its equation. And you're finished. Okay? So that was a lot of different things, so let's write this down. Where did we start? Okay? I'll write down the steps for you. Steps. Okay, number 1, you prepare by, well, we did things like we drew a set of axes. Okay? You draw axes. And you also wrote down the equation. You did that just like I did. Right equation. Okay. And then what you do is, we compared this equation to y equals mx plus b. And then we saw, oh look, there's m and there's b. Okay. So, compare was the verb, right? To y equals mx plus b. And the reason why is so we can work out what m, the gradient is, and b, the y-intercept is, right? Compare to this so that you can work out m, which is the gradient, and b, which is the y-intercept. Okay, that was the second thing we did, okay? Now, once we knew what m and b were, what was the next thing that we did? Do you remember? I plotted something.
I plotted the, what's it called?
Yeah, I plotted the y-intercept, right? So I said, plot the y-intercept. Now, because it's a y-intercept, we put it on the y-axis, right? You don't get them confused. Y-intercept goes to the y-axis, so on the y-axis, which is the vertical one. Okay, I might even write that in for you. The vertical one. Okay, so we did the y-intercept. What did I do after that? Yeah, good, excellent. So I looked at rise over run. I said, look, if this here is the gradient, that means that's rise and that's run. That's rise and that's run. So then I went up and across, okay? So then, right, what I do is I plot another point. That was this point. Plot a second point using rise over run. Okay? Rise and then run. And like Tom noticed very well, don't forget that you start from this intercept, right? You don't start from 0. You start from there, go up and across. Okay? To start from the y-intercept. Okay, yep.
Suppose the y-intercept was like 3. So do we go up from 3?
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. So if I had done these earlier steps and I put my x in there, I'm going to go through there, then I would go up from here and across. Exactly right. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. The last step was we joined it all up. Okay, connect the points. Join the dots. And that was the sketch.